If you enjoy anime, be sure to come on down for 31 days of anime over on MysticSage. Also follow our TikToks for daily Pokemon and anime content. Links for all of those will be below. It's about that time once again. The Top 10 Weakest series is back, and we're stuck between a rock and a hard place this go-around. Last week we took to the skies, and this time we're as grounded as we can be without being ground types. And don't worry, we'll get to those soon enough. However, today we've got the rock types, and thankfully for me, this list was not hard to make at all. As a matter of fact, half of this list has appeared in previous typings videos. Just going to show that when a Pokemon with the rock typing is bad, it's pretty damn bad. No need to go any further than that with this intro though. Let's just go mining and uncover some horrible gems, shall we? We kick today's video off at number 10 with the schnoz Pokemon itself, Probopass. Its magnetic nose gives it the majestic metal mustache that it has, and it even has some mini noses that float around it that allows it to attack from any direction. I'm sure I knows what you're thinking. Mystic, who cares? Well, I do. It's not every day you get to talk about something as silly as Probopass. And I wanted to be a little positive before we go into burying it and every other Pokemon on this list. I guess one last positive thing I can say is Probopass has some massive defense, 145 in physical and 150 in special, which plays in well with its great defensive typing in regards to resistances. It has access to Sturdy as well, which is always nice on a Pokemon like this, as despite the many resistances, it still carries a big weakness to fighting and ground type moves, or in some cases only fighting moves if you use Magnet Rise. Its HP isn't great though, and its speed is so horrible. However, when it comes to taking a hit or two, it's more than prepared to do that, especially on the special end. I mentioned Sturdy as an ability a moment ago, and Magnet Pull is in some ways even better when dealing with strong steel types. But it comes down to what works better with your team or the format you're playing. So how about offensively? Well, its stats there are not great, being 55 physical and 75 special. Though I guess at least the latter can be somewhat usable. Really, I'd recommend just using Probopass to do things like use Taunt, or set up Stealth Rocks, as the hits it can take against non-fighting and ground-type Pokemon allow it to make the most of those moves. It has Flash Cannon as probably the best move in its pool that it can really take advantage of. The other options include Earth Power, Hidden Power, Thunderbolt, and Dazzling Gleam. There's potential for Probopass in certain battles, but it definitely just falls into the category of not worth using, and thus ends up on this list opening things up. Unfortunately, its glorious nose couldn't point it in the right direction this time. So much for the Compass Pokemon. Let's move on to a Pokemon that lurks the bottom of Hoenn Seas, and has for millions of years, the longevity Pokemon Relic Camp. It's the first Pokemon we're talking about today that is in Sword and Shield, so that's nice. Following up on the defenses we had with Probopass, we have Relic Camp here with its base 130 defense and base 100 HP, which basically enables it to take probably like an earthquake or two before fainting. That's pretty cool. Now, what about when it tries to hit back? Well, you can rest assured you won't be hitting first thanks to 55 base speed, and 90 base attack at least means you can do a little bit of damage. As for its special stats, well, you can see them up on screen. They're a joke. Its abilities are a bit of a joke too. Sturdy is probably the best of the bunch in a few ways, but I can see people liking Rockhead for those recoil moves. Swift Swim though? It's not getting much from a speed boost in the rain for a few turns when its speed is already as bad as it is. As for moves, well, the only few that Relic Camp has access to that actually work with Rockhead are Head Smash, Takedown, and Double Edge. And why would you use the latter two? There's some viability in using Head Smash, but not those normal type moves. Why am I even acting like you'd get a chance to use a move anyway? Relic Camp might have bulk, but the odds of surviving a strong special grass type move or actually stopping a special attacking ground or fighting type with Head Smash are slim to none. It might only be coming in at number 9, and that's partially thanks to the defenses it has, But this is a garbage Pokemon, and it should have just stayed at the bottom of the sea for another 100 million years. Maybe it could have learned a few new tricks to succeed in battle. Alright, so we've got back-to-back entries coming up after Relic Camp of Pokemon we've had before. Once again, I'm separating Lunatone and Solrock into different entries. But while Lunatone was better than Solrock as a psychic type on that list, this time I believe Solrock is the better rock type. Its physical attack being 95 is actually better here, since its move pool is so full of physical attacking rock types. Its defenses aren't fantastic and definitely hinder it. But of course, Levitate for an ability is nice for any rock type to help avoid ground types. The access it has to Stone Edge, Rock Throw, and Earthquake are still great here, enabling it to hit harder than Lunatone can with the Rock Stab, while also still having Zen Headbutt, which allows it to do something on the psychic end. It's a very weird circumstance, but this time around, Solrock is just built better to be a successful rock type than Lunatone is. Go figure. So, like I said, up next is Lunatone. It would have to be because this time it has less worth being a special attacker. Fundamentally, they're the same Pokemon in a way, with different stat allocation. But when you look at the move pool Lunatone has, it looks pretty damn good. It's got Moonblast, Psychic, and Power Gem, which is a nice set of special moves. And if you wanted to, you could even run a Stored Power Calm Mind set, which could work out very well. That base 95 special attack shouldn't be slept on, and I will say that its base 70 speed is a lot better than it could be, although it still isn't great. You're not going to take many water or dark hits too well with the defense it has, that's for sure. Its speed can be improved from Rock Polish, and of course with Calm Mind, that special defense will go up. But needing to take turns to set up leaves Lunatone open to being attacked, and for a rock type, it just can't take them well. The real issue for it, which leaves it behind Solrock this time around, is that as a rock type, it just doesn't do much of anything. Its special attacking move pool has plenty that can be done with the psychic typing and a strong move like Moonblast, but only Power Gem. I'd rather use Earthquake and Stone Edge on a rock type over Moonblast and Power Gem, but that is just me. Either way, neither the sun nor the moon are very good in this case. Wow, Stonjourner, I'm not gonna lie, you look a little douchey today. I can't say that's too surprising though, as you probably believe you're a pretty good Pokemon. However, allow me to break your heart here. You're not anywhere near as good as you think. You're a physical specimen for sure, with 100 base HP, 125 base attack, and 135 base defense. It's honestly hard to believe, at first glance, that you're even on this list. But the physical end doesn't tell the entire story. You got awful special stats. And while 70 base speed is probably a lot better than one would expect out of you, it's still not very good. Let's quickly address the elephant in the room. The Power Spot ability. It's completely worthless in singles, and in doubles, it has the ability to raise the power of its partner's attacks by 30%. Boy, would it be great if Stonjourner, had any idea how to take a special attacking move. If a Pokemon even motions in the direction of using Water Gun, Stonjourner just faints. I mean, come on, what Pokemon can even hope about being successful with base 20 special defense? Well, I guess Stonjourner can at least think about it thanks to its good move pool. Its access to Stone Edge for stab is nice, and then miscellaneous moves like Earthquake, Body Press which works with the defense, and Heat Crash all come together to provide some sort of coverage for the sting. It can hit hard, that I won't deny. And again, there is physical bulk that lets it take hit on that end. So if you can get it in against mostly physical attackers, there is some merit to using it. However, the odds of you running into a team without a single special attacker or just special move on any moveset is slim to none. Stonjourner is right outside of the top 5 because I had to give it credit for what it does right. But what it does wrong is so disastrous that it just leads to major suckage. here we go, opening the top 5 with a Pokemon that proves that just because you might be useful sometimes on the best team, you're not going to be useful at all on a competitive team. We've got Suiwoodo here, and it's a real shame that it is as bad as it is. It's honestly a little similar to Stonjounrer. It has a good attack and defense stat, but its special defense at least is a lot better. Its speed is significantly worse too, and that hurts it big time. However, it does have access to Sturdy. Hey, and if you want to get sped up, you can run Rattled on this thing and increase the speed. Wouldn't that be great? Well, how about no? You'll want to use Rockhead on this thing, because the move Head Smash is the only thing that warrants its usage in battle. It has access to other moves too, like the Elemental Punches, Earthquake, and hey, it can get Curse if you want to try setting up for whatever reason. It's just probably none of that is going to work out super well. Its speed prevents much of an ability to set up, it struggles to take special moves super well, and it's only good enough to shock with the Head Smash. And that's it. Let me know what you guys think about Suiwoodo down below. I am sure I'm not alone in thinking it's not very good. This is pretty shocking, but we haven't had a single fossil Pokemon on this entire list. Until now, of course. Actually, oddly enough, it's the only fossil Pokemon on the entire list. So I guess that actually speaks very highly of our long extinct friends. The one we're talking about right now, though, is the picture of defense, Sinnoh's Bastiodon. I've recently featured Bastiodon on the worst team for Platinum, and came to find that offensively, it really is as bad as it looks, and its stats show a couple of attacks that are base 52 and 47. Some of the absolute worst we're talking about today. Its speed is straight garbage too, being base 30, and its HP doesn't contribute much to the bulk, being base 60. Its typing is absolutely awful for it, as while I praised it before with Probopass, at least it had access to Magnet Rise, which eliminated the ground weakness. For Bastiodon, it must deal with both ground and fighting type moves coming its way, which essentially wipes out all the great resistances. Its access to Sturdy is one good thing at least, but one good thing doesn't really cut it. The move pool on Bastiodon is awful, with really the only good set to run on it is one that involves setting up Stealth Rocks. Metal Burst and Rock Slide are both moves worth running, but aside from them, you can't do anything other than give a half-hearted attempt at stalling and setting up hazards. Bastiodon is really bad, and it could have easily been in the number 1 spot. However, as it would seem to be with the rock typing, the absolute rock bottom is some of the worst Pokemon around. So before we get to the very obvious final 2 Pokemon on this list, let's take a short period to talk about the Pokemon that ended up in the number 3 spot on this list, Carbink. I say that because, well, there isn't a lot to say. It's horrible, and it's obvious to see why without me needing to explain too much. It's got 150 base defenses, which are both great, and then base 50 for every other stat. It's not able to hit for anything, it's got no speed, and with no HP, it's got only half of the bulk equation. It's only useful for trying the Toxic Stall and set up entry hazards. But at the end of the day, any Steel-type move from a decent attacker will absolutely annihilate Carbink and send it straight to the Shadow Realm. Its entire usefulness as a setup Pokemon with hazards, or even Trick Room setup, is in jeopardy by any Pokemon with Taunt. And when you can be that easily countered, you're just not good. Carbink is even luckier than Bastiodon. It easily could have been number 1 today. Alright, time for the penultimate spot on this list. The second weakest rock-type Pokemon, which is also the second worst water-type, Corsola. I'm sure a lot of you came into this video figuring you might even see it at number 1. But lucky for Corsola, it is the slightest bit better than that. I have to give it a little bit of credit before I get into the thrashing. Its hidden ability, Regenerator, is actually a really good one to have. It might be a bit useless on Corsola, but that doesn't change the fact that it is a good ability to have. Now, a glance over the stats reveals base 95 defenses and base 65 HP. You might as well just forget about having good bulk, because they couldn't give this thing an HP stat that actually complements its good defenses. The offensive side of things is of course worse, as neither stat lends itself towards production, and that 35 base speed is disgusting. Grass-type Pokemon are going to have a field day picking apart Corsola, worse than any Toxapex could. And despite a move pool filled with decent coverage, Corsola can't do anything to anyone. It's got access to Calm Mind, which it'll never get to take advantage of since its speed is so poor. It can use Earthquakes, which is just a silly thing that this little piece of coral probably shouldn't be able to do. It can even use Explosion, but with that awful attack stat, it would probably be lucky to even cause a Pokemon to lose half of its HP. Corsola is so damn bad, it's almost shocking to remind myself that it is only number 2 on this list. But I will say one thing right now, it was fun debating with myself over whether it or Magcargo belonged at number 1 on this list. But it looks like you guys know the answer to that now, don't you? I ask this again. Could you imagine the only good thing about your existence being that you have access to recover? Well, that's the reality that Magcargo wakes up to every time someone boots up a Pokemon game, watches a Pokemon YouTube video, or even brings up the franchise at all. It's one of the worst Pokemon of all time, and it's earned the title of being the worst Pokemon of a typing once again here today. Getting into its stats, its defense is great, being base 120. And 90 base special attack is usually a great start to build off of. The problem? That would be the base 30 speed and 60 HP that completely eliminate any chance Magcargo has to take a hit and hit back. What's worse is its typing in general, which leaves it times 4 weak to water and ground, as well as still weak to Stealth Rocks and just about every other entry hazard. Its abilities are flat out useless on a Pokemon like this, so that isn't even a redeemable quality. Like I mentioned a moment ago, the only notable thing about Magcargo is the fact that it has access to recover. And that's truly it. Why bother using any of the offensive moves it has access to when the odds are heavily in the favor of it absolutely getting rocked? You're better off sitting around with Recover, Stealth Rocks, and Toxic, and just counting your blessings if Magcargo even lasts one turn. Again, it's just wild to me that there can be Pokemon that are as bad as this just sitting around. Because usually even some of the worst Pokemon can find some sort of nice niche to fit into, but not Magcargo. I feel like I'm just getting too negative at this point, so I'll wrap up the list with this. Magcargo is the worst Rock-type Pokemon. It was already the worst Fire-type Pokemon, and if I ever get around to the top 10 worst Pokemon, it'll be challenging for the top spot on that. However, I'm thankful that until then, I won't have to talk about Magcargo again. Man, this Pokemon just sucks, and it's so depressing to look at. Alright, that is going to do it for yet another top 10 weakest video. We rocked and rolled our way through the top 10 and made it to the end. And now, I've got to clean myself up. Playing with rocks is dirty. Let me know what you guys think though, if I got this one right or not. The next one we do, I'm pretty sure is going to be the only typing that's actually harder than a rock. But I'll wait and see what you guys say. Thanks again for watching and supporting the Top 10 Weakest series. Hey, welcome to my new outro. A big thank you to everyone for watching the video. I want to give a huge thanks to my phenomenal team, and for the amazing art done each week by Danny the Demon. I couldn't do all this without them. If y'all enjoyed the video and want to see more content like this, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Be sure to leave a comment too, it really helps us out. I have a brand new TikTok for MysticUmbreon, and I've got a goal to get the 10k followers over there. If we can hit that goal, I'm going to pick a random video suggested to me by you guys and do it. So go over there and leave a follow. Also over on MysticSage in the month of July, I'll be uploading one video a day. We've got content from My Hero to Demon Slayer to Black Clover. So come over to check it out. And also check out MysticSage on TikTok. Finally, I've got an Amazon store where we sell tons of Pokemon and anime products. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm MysticUmbreon, and I'll see you next time with some more amazing Pokemon content.